If you own a sports team, you need to be informed, make smart decisions, and build a champion. It's no different when it comes to selling or trading your car. You need to make good choices with TrueCar. You've got a star in your roster. When you're ready to sell or trade in your car, check out TrueCar. True cash offer not available in all areas. Doug Gottlieb in for Colin. This is The Herd, Fox Sports 1, Fox Sports Radio, iHeartRadio app. Jeff Goodman from Stadium Sports will join us upcoming next hour. We'll ask him, who's going to get that UCLA job? Matt Barnes, obviously a UCLA alum, continues to join us. You got any idea? Like, it has been really a state-held secret who gets the UCLA job.
Yeah, there's talks, there's rumblings about some big names, and then, I heard Earl Watson did really well in his interview. To me, if you can't get a historical name that's bigger than the program that could really change things around, I think for once they need to go grassroots with someone that can get some of the alumni back and really build that UCLA pride back up that the school so desperately needs.
Yeah, it is interesting. Like, look, having been in that position before, I can tell you that, like, part of the sale is like, hey, look, recruiting is about telling a story. Mm-hmm. When it's your story, it's a lot easier to tell, right? A lot easier to tell. And then, of course, the bringing back guys, instead of having to be told, hey, this guy played here then, and this guy played here then.
Especially with how many guys. We have a UCLA group chat where there's about 20 of us, anywhere from, Charles O'Bannon to Toby Bailey to Baron Davis, Earl Watson. All of us are still very well connected, and that's the disconnect with UCLA is there's no connection with the alumni.
Right, because and the former coaches aren't necessarily around. Right. I know that Coach Herrick is now at Cal State Northridge, but I wonder if Charles Rochlin, why he doesn't get on that, that group. I'm an old school UCLA guy. All right, Matt Barnes, here's what I think the Lakers are. Have you noticed that all the moves the Clippers have made, Blake Griffin traded, Chris Paul traded, Tobias Harris traded, did anyone see those moves coming? Did anyone see them coming?
Poker hand, poker faces.
Correct.
Yeah.
And that's generally the way the NBA works, right? When Kawhi Leonard was moved to the Toronto Raptors, there was no rumors of, right? So here's how I relate it. And you've been married, you have kids, you know how this works. Like, there are times as a dad where you gotta sneak out early. And when I say sneak out, it sounds sneaky, but I'm just saying you got to get out of the house early, go get coffee or go to work. And when the kids are asleep, you can't wake them up. And some dads just don't have the ability to be ninja dads. They step on every Lego, they stub their toe, they rattle their keys constantly, right? Like, there's a way to pick up your keys where instead of doing this and wake somebody up, you grab them and you grab the key and then you have them in your hand. The Lakers are the guy that's rattling the keys, making the noise when they get up in the morning. Like, everyone sees them coming. Why is that?
I think it's the old adage, loose lips sink ships. And I think they're almost a desperation stage where if they have a good move, they want to tell the world because they didn't do a very good job last season, so they want to let everyone know, like, okay, well, we're with Magic, we're going to get another one next year, and this is the coach we're going after now, and this is what's going on. I think it may be an LA thing, it may be a Laker thing, or it may be a fact of, okay, we haven't done so well thus far, so let me say what our plans are, and maybe that'll take some pressure off us. But to me, that's backwards thinking. To me, you have to move very strategically this summer with everything you do, from trades to coaches to if there's management changes. Everything has to be very strategic because they could possibly be at a point where they're dangling all their young talent again and don't really trade for anybody. So then you got to bring these same guys that you tried to trade at the trade deadline. You tried to dangle them all summer, and then you're trying to tell them, okay, now we believe in you. Let's have a good season. So I think this has to be a very big, quiet from a strategic standpoint summer, but they really need to make some stuff happen.
The problem with that, though, is, and that's smart, problem, though, is now we get the Rick Carlisle story. Which look, Rick Carlisle makes sense, right? Offensive mastermind, guy who's got a healthy ego, but it's supported by the fact he's been in two NBA finals and won an NBA championship against LeBron. Right. And, part of the deal is, in order to win in the NBA, you have to have respect to the locker room. In order to have respect to the locker room, you have to have one in the NBA. So, like, I get, now, the Doc Rivers thing. Okay, was that just floated? Was that Doc trying to get a new contract, which he got with the Clippers? Or was that a real possibility? I
heard it was a real possibility. And when I first heard, I'm just like, no way. To me, the Clippers look like they're on the up and up. They look like a smooth situation. But then I happened to be somewhere the day it broke. And the people I was working with are, very entwined to, what's going on. And they said that was a real situation. Now, whether because it broke and it got so big that they had to kind of hush that up, they don't want to have a distraction going into the playoffs because all of a sudden now he has a handshake deal to be the coach next year. I've never really heard a handshake deal. Normally if you're getting an extension, you're going to sign it. So But for what I was told that day, that it was a serious move.
Okay, so that's not going to happen. I don't think the Carlisle thing is going to happen. I don't think Jason Kidd's getting the job, dude. You can't go on TV talking about a job that's not open. Like that does not go over well in most NBA circles, right? So then you have, Mark Jackson, you got Ty Lue, you got, college coaches out there. Like, who's the guy who can fix it?
I don't know if there's a coach that can fix it. To be honest with you, I think you kind of have to go more along the lines of this team is built. This is LeBron's team, so to speak. So I think you got to get a LeBron guy from that standpoint. Maybe someone that can get out the way and let LeBron be LeBron. But I think more than anything, you need personnel, that fits him. They didn't have any from the beginning last year. Everyone was excited about the team, but a glaring weakness was shooting. LeBron is very successful when the court is spaced. He can attack and he can penetrate and kick or score. They didn't have that kind of spacing this year, mixed with a lot of other stuff. So I think more than a coach, a coach will be important somewhat, but this is a players' league more than anything. You need a coach that can, have respect, obviously, but then probably his best attribute for the Lakers is going to be to get out the way.
Yeah, the one question I have is he was able to cover up some of those shooters' weaknesses defensively for a long time, and now he can't, right? And so it dramatically changes when you kind of got to hide LeBron defensively. Last thing, I don't know if you saw the story. You're a former Warrior. Jordan Bell was suspended for a game, and apparently it was because he charged a candle from like Bed Bath & Beyond to Mike Brown's room. Right, and I guess there's like a running prank but there has to be something more to the story than just like a $15 candle.
Yeah, I remember, this is a funny story. I remember we were in Phoenix with Shaq and me, him, Steve, Raja, we all went to eat one day and we charged a huge bill to Terry Porter's room, and they were pissed. Like we ate and they were pissed. I might have just snitched, my bad. But anyway, so this is something that happens where, players will charge stuff to other people. It happened on the Clippers before, charging stuff. So that's funny. But for him to be suspended, I think there has to be a little bit more, because we charged a lot of money on some coaches' bills and no one ever got suspended.
Can the Celtics get it together before the playoffs?
I think so. They're such an intriguing team, and I think if there wasn't so much drama with the Lakers, that would have been more dissected, because I think that was a very unhappy locker room. But then at times you see how talented they are. And I think more than anything, normally a team has to, mold their game to the superstar. I think this is one exception where Kyrie has to mold his game to what those younger players are doing, because they've done it without him. I think if Kyrie can do that, go out there, play basketball, share the ball, have fun, they're going to be, they're definitely someone that can come out of the East.
You know what the one that no one's talking about? The Thunder. Like the Thunder have gone from second best team in the West, legit challenger, to, eighth seed in the West. Played better last time out against the Pacers, but what the hell happened to Thunder's chemistry?
I think a little bit of, to me, it's always been less is more with Westbrook, and I think that he showed flashes this year where he's kind of taking a little bit of a backseat and let Paul do the bulk of the scoring, because normally a point guard shooting that much is not going to work if you're called on to be the main distributor. Steph can get away with taking 20 shots because they have a lot of other distributors on that team, the guys that get people make plays for other guys. But Russ is counted on so much to distribute as well that I think when he takes around 15 to 16 shots instead of 24 to 25 shots, obviously they're a better team. Matt
Barnes, great stuff, Matt. Look forward to seeing him on all of our shows here on Fox Sports 1. I'll tell you why Antonio Brown forcing himself out of Pittsburgh, while it seemed to be a good thing for player empowerment, might actually have the opposite of that effect. That's next. I'm Doug.